Hi, good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Business Spotlight series. I'm here with Ross Gemmell from Northallerton Osteopaths. How you doing, Ross?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Thank you. Thanks very much for agreeing to be on and willing to share your business story with us. So, if you could start us off and just let us know a little bit more about who you are, Ross, what you do, how long you've been doing it for, please.
So I'm an osteopath. For those that don't know what an is, we are sort of hands-on healthcare practitioners, deal with injuries head to toe, think sciatica, back pain, whiplash, shoulder pain. We treat a wide variety of stuff. So I sort of do that by trade, but whilst I'm still seeing patients, I predominantly spend a lot of my time running the two clinics that we've got, me and my business partner. So we've got a team of about 20 practitioners between
Mhm.
the two clinics. So osteopath is certainly the core of the business, but we've then got one of pretty much every other practitioner within podiatry, sports therapy, physiotherapy, acupuncture, and so on, just to try and get
Yeah.
people sorted with whatever ailment they've got because we can't do it all.
Yeah, nice. So you've got quite a lot going on there. If you're still practicing osteopath and running a
Mm.
team of 20 and two practices. So if we go back in time a little bit and just what were you starting out in the trade and then decided I want to run a practice and go into business? Because obviously being an osteopath and running a business, being a business owner are two quite different things. Tell us about how that transpired for you.
Yeah, so I remember really vividly at school when we got the option to take on business studies as a subject. And I remember thinking, well, why would I ever want to run a business? I'll just work for somebody. I'm just going to be a
Yeah.
healthcare worker and I'll just get a job. So it's definitely not something I had in mind. I injured my back when I was a teenager. That's how I went on to see an osteopath and got an introduction to it that way. And then I just
Mhm.
thought, yeah, this is what I want to do. Started using every treatment as a careers advice meeting. I was just a chatty 16-year-old asking him loads of questions. And then, what do you need to do this? So I went into it that way, went to Unit 18. And that's where I met Jo, my business partner now. She was one of the head lecturers there. Uh, she taught me for 4 years. And then I started working for her at her clinic at Northallerton. Worked with her for 2 years. And then she asked me if I wanted to go into business with her. She's found this larger premises down the road, good way of expanding the business, but financially, logistically, she couldn't do it on her own. Asked if I wanted to go in halves on the refurb of this business, then go in together as business partners, buy into the business, and then run it 50-50. So we did that 9 years ago. And we had a team of about, including receptionists and things like that, we had a team of about eight. And then we had three treatment rooms. And then now we've got the two clinics. We've got a team of nearly 30 people when you include everyone, all the admin team and practice manager and receptionist and things like that. Um, with healthcare degrees, particularly a degree like osteopathy, you just get taught how to be an osteopath or how to be
Yeah.
a nurse or how to be
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
physio. You don't get any, or we didn't get any like business training. So
Mhm.
you get spat out of uni and you know what you should be doing, but not a Scooby how to run a
Yeah.
business. So just had to learn it all, either from Joe, my business partner, or just
Mhm.
myself. I do a lot of driving, so I drive an hour to work, an hour back, so that's 2 hours a day, and I just go through loads of audiobooks. So
Yeah.
I just try and devour them and learn it all that way. So I've just had to learn it that way, learn by mistakes, learn just DIY really.
Brilliant. So, what makes well, I'll ask you about your business journey then. Seeing as we're on that at the moment, you're obviously keen to learn,
Mm.
open-minded to take on all that information and all those questions that you asked in the early days, and carried that through with listening to those things on the way to work. What's the business journey been like to date then over those sort of 9 years or so? Has it been all plain sailing? You've just started in business and it's
Oh, it's been
brilliant.
horrendous.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrendous.
What's it really
I mean,
like?
if it was that bad, I wouldn't do it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been really tough. I mean, I was 23 when Joe asked me if I wanted to sort of go into the business, and I
Yeah,
basically
still
put
young. Mm.
every penny I had into it, and then I loaned the same amount from my mum and dad
Mhm.
again to sort of go into it. So I, being like the age I was so naive to how hard it was going to be. Had I known that now, I probably wouldn't have done it. So that's like the benefit of being young and not really knowing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it is good, and it's all that sort of longer term vision as what sort of keeps you going with it.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it's lots of ups and downs. But you just just got to get on with them. Basically, pull your socks up and get on with it.
That's it. No one's coming to save you. As
No.
I really like someone on this Business Spotlight series once said when they went into business, that was the kind of dawning realization when they started. Yeah, you just have to kind of get on. But there's a lot
Yeah.
of things in life I think that we do that we look back and go, well, if I knew what I knew now, I probably wouldn't start. But I'm glad I did
Mhm.
start.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that doesn't mean you have to regret doing it. It's
yeah.
yeah,
That's it.
definitely.
Such is life. So, in terms of why people come to you, I mean, osteopaths, you, in terms of the market, I suppose, and how you do you differentiate yourself, or is it a case of just high service? Or how does an osteopath kind of attract customers?
Well, we're really well positioned for, I guess, addressing the root cause of a problem. So we get
Mhm.
a lot of our training is all about puzzle solving, problem solving, getting to the root
Mhm.
cause of an injury. It's a very sort of basic analogy. If someone's got a lower back issue and it's just going on and on and on and keep going episodes and flare ups and nobody can get it sorted, it turns out it might be a dodgy ankle from an old injury 15
Mhm.
years ago. So we'll treat the
Yeah.
ankle and the lower back rather than just treating the lower back.
Mhm.
Or maybe a lower back problem's causing a neck problem higher up. And it's about addressing that sort of
Yeah.
cause and having that real understanding of how one joint can impact its neighboring joint and then the domino
Mhm.
effect through the body. So that's sort of what differentiates us a little bit more and our hands-on skills with that palpation. So we do so much more hands-on touch sense of training. So osteopaths quite notorious for just having a good sense of touch and knowing to where to press and where the problem is coming from. And I guess with our business, the main thing that stands us out is it's really common, not just in osteopathy, but private physio clinics, private chiropractic clinics, sports therapy, where you've got this team of individual therapists, and generally the business model is they're self-employed. So they rent a
Mhm.
room, a bit like hairdressing business
Yeah.
model, they're just renting a chair, and everyone's they're doing their best for their patient, but you just get a team of individuals. And I've worked in clinics where there isn't really that much of that sort of team approach because
Mhm.
deep down, it's not intentional, but you're probably holding on to that patient to try and fix it yourself, but sometimes you
Yeah.
can't fix it yourself. So we've worked really hard over the past 10 years changing that. So there's lots of cross referrals going on in the clinic. Everyone just understands, look, I might not be able to sort it, but
Mhm.
such next door will be able to. So
Yeah.
patients are learning that, oh, I've got a problem. I don't know who I need to see. I just know I'll ring that clinic, and our receptionists are trained to sort of send patients in the right direction. And it's not a patient's responsibility to know who to see.
Mhm.
I think we've all probably had an experience in healthcare where you've maybe spent a little bit of time seeing the wrong person. And that's just a
Yeah.
massive bugbear of mine, where I'll see so many people. They've said, oh, I've seen this person, I've seen this person, I finally, this seems like the right thing. And we just try to eliminate that. Like the first call, our receptionist got these booklets where it's lots of sort of, it's like an A to Z sort of index really of this is the best for this condition, this is the best sort of person. So it just gets the patient straight in to the best person and just reduces the time that they're in pain and reduces the time seeing the wrong person. So I quite like all that sort of marginal gains, like improvements
Yeah, I
thing.
gotta say that sounds like a systems and processes improvement
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you've learned
Yeah, you can
to
probably tell by the
implement.
faster I'm talking, the more energy I'm getting. I do quite enjoy it.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's just all about making it better and better, really. That's what I love.
great stuff. And you mentioned about vision earlier. So what's the vision and what are the challenges and opportunities that you foresee in your sector at the moment to achieve that?
I'd probably say the main challenge in osteopathy as a whole, it's in negative growth pretty much now. So there's not
Mhm.
enough people graduating compared to retiring. And at the exact same time, the demand is going up. So
Mhm.
we're all getting really, really busy because there's not enough staff and then there's too many patients, which is, yeah, great for us. But the problem is, if I've not got an appointment for 4 weeks, a patient will have to wait 4 weeks to see me and then
Mhm.
another 4 weeks to follow it up. And they're just not going to get better that way. And it's going to start creating a problem where we'll almost start getting dragged into the waiting list similar to the NHS. So,
Yeah,
um, I mean, there's a variety of reasons, but a lot of people just aren't wanting to go to uni, and particularly do a hands-on degree, and particularly if it's a 4-year degree, when there's other degrees in
sure.
healthcare that are only 3, and perhaps NHS bursary. But that's like another meeting and interview. But
Yeah.
we've started taking on a lot of work experience students, A-level students, school students, just to try and give them a little bit of insight and inspiration. Do they want to do this or do they not want to do this? I mean, if it's a week spent with us and they find, yeah, it's definitely what I don't want to do, then it's still a week well spent for them. But
Yeah.
we're trying to do more sort of like longer term work, where someone might come see us, yeah, I want to be an osteopath or I want to be a sports therapist. And then hopefully a small sliver of them might come and work with us one day because we had a real bad issue with recruitment several years ago. So that's where we've changed a lot of this and started doing more work with schools and colleges and stuff. And it's working already where some are going off to uni. We've had a few of the team members now that are with us that were originally work experience. So it does help a lot.
Brilliant. So is that part of your vision then to kind of bring more people into the industry, into the osteopath world?
Yeah. I mean, there was a big talk at the actual professional body for osteopaths in the UK, and there was basically just saying like if you all just try and inspire one person into the profession as a sort of one for one sort of thing, then
Yeah, it
it's
will
sort of
help.
saves. So we're just trying to do that and more. So we've already done
Yeah,
quite a few. So we're in sort of plus equity, if you like, with that. But
yeah.
yeah, that's the aim, and it means that we're actually going to be able to fill the needs of the community, the town, the patients,
Mhm.
the things that are coming through the doors and offer that service, particularly with the way that the NHS is going. It's quite
Mhm.
like with all these type of things like back pain and shoulder pain and other ailments where it's not life-threatening, they're probably just going to get weaned off in the NHS. So it's only going to place more of a demand on us. So it's just trying to future-proof that and maybe able to go on and open more clinics and things like that. But we'll just sort of,
Right.
if that happens, then
Yeah.
that happens.
So through all this that you've gone through over the last 9 years and running a business and experiencing what you have, what would you say, Ross, is your biggest business lesson to date?
Um, it's probably just the buck always stops with you.
Yeah,
Always. If a member of staff does a poor job of something, it'd be very quick and easy just to sort of blame them. But you've just got to look at yourself and just be frank and honest and quite ruthless, really, and just say, right, what could I have done better? I
yeah,
clearly didn't explain it properly to them. I clearly didn't explain how important this job was or how to do it and what could I have done better. And majority of cases, you can look back and think, oh yeah, I could have done something a little bit better to help them do a better
Mhm.
job. And on the rare occasion where you couldn't have done anything better, then you couldn't have done anything better. So you just got to get on with it and you just let it go. So
Yeah,
it's all about, for me, just sort of controlling the controllables. That's been quite a big sort of turning point in my mindset with letting things go that you couldn't have done anything more about rather than stewing on it. And also actually doing everything you can and not blaming others.
sure. Makes a lot of sense and a great leadership lesson shared there, and a bit of
Well, it's
experience.
easier said than done, but
Yeah,
easier when
it,
someone I see it
yeah,
on paper.
it's a never-ending process, isn't it, in terms of that letting go and taking a step back before and saying, how did I contribute to this and how can
Yeah,
I be better, as opposed to pointing a finger or yeah,
that's
absorbing
it.
responsibility. But
Yeah, there's a really good saying that I like that losers blame other people and winners blame themselves. So it's just all about just looking at yourself and yeah, what could I have done?
nice, like that. Thank you for that share. So, in terms of inspiration and Ross to to continue doing what you're doing and to grow the team and go to work every day and to be in business and take that responsibility, what is the inspiration for you?
I guess sort of going into healthcare initially, I really enjoy
Mhm.
helping people. And it's not for everyone. That doesn't mean you're a bad person for not wanting to help people because there's lots of other jobs in the world that we need. I guess our early experiences in life as children sort of influences our personality. And for me, my sister had or has a really complex medical history with a few disabilities. So I think from a young age, just getting sort of brought into that caring role as you would being a sibling,
Yeah,
that impacted me at a really young age. And I think that probably almost meant I was always going to go into that caring role. So primarily, I really enjoy helping people. But for me, the sort of decision going into business, I sort of really struggled with the thought of as an osteopath, I might only be able to see 40, 50, 60 people max a week. I've
Mhm.
really quickly hit that ceiling of how many people I can help. And whilst it's a bit of a blessing, but also a bit of a curse, that sort of more mindset, I just hated the thought of that just being the ceiling. And
Sure.
with opening or getting into a business and then a second location and maybe more in future, there isn't really a ceiling with it, which is what I like. And I like always sort of working towards something, not really bothered about the sort of end goal. And there's a really good saying for happiness that I really enjoy. It's more of like a scientific explanation of happiness when they've sort of really looked into it, and it's progress towards a worthy goal. And I
Mhm.
really like that way. You just sort of you're always sort of working
Yeah.
towards that. And I think sort of looking back, I probably didn't realize at the time, but just working on my own, that you're no longer working towards something. It just becomes the sort of day to day. Yes, you're helping people and making a difference, but there is a limit to that.
Nice. It's definitely a growth mindset that I think you've got that kind of
Yeah,
comes to mind there. But
yeah,
yeah, also that it's that way of being, isn't it? As opposed to I have to achieve this in order to have some sort of identity and acquire
mm,
something. But because life is kind of like never ending. So if you can kind of get to that at peace, as you say, happiness where it's you understand it's never ending. You're not trying to get somewhere to prove something. You're just
yeah,
being the best you can be day to day, doing what you do, heading towards it, having a direction of a goal, but it's not
yeah.
about
You,
uh,
s-
the
you see it a
achievement.
lot in when I was watching. I think it was the Olympics. Maybe was it last year or a year ago? I noticed a lot of them in these interviews. Sort of post-event interviews. So many of them were talking about trying to enjoy the process and trying to enjoy the journey. And it's a real big thing in sport where they've got that gold medal and it's just, okay, now what type thing.
Yeah.
And
So now
I guess
what? Yeah.
elite sport, that no one's going to know better about sort of performance from a
Mhm.
psychological point of view than them. And you can see that they're all onto that. And there is sort of a lot of um, joy to be had in actually just focusing on that sort of that journey, that progress without trying to sound sort of cliche and cringy, but
Yeah.
looking towards that end goal. Because then when that gets achieved, you're probably going to be a bit underwhelmed and it's not as good as you thought. And then it's okay, what now?
Yeah.
What do I do? So I've tried to do a lot of work on that.
Nice. That's a good reflection. Johnny Wilkinson comes to mind with the winning the World Cup, the Rugby
Yeah,
World Cup in 2003. It was like, well, I've done it. Oh,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, that's it. And
yeah,
I know he struggled with that. So yeah, it's really
yeah.
important.
People like him are so good to listen to on those subjects. He's such
Yeah,
a wizard on it, really.
yeah, great stuff. So, in terms of advice, then, kind of taking some all this reflection to uh, into a piece of advice you could offer, say, if you were talking to yourself back at 18, what would that be?
Um, the books would be one that was, without being dramatic, it's actually quite life-changing for me, really. I think at that point in time, I thought that the way I thought was quite fixed in stone, but
Mhm.
set in stone rather. But learning and listening and everything else to other things, it can sort of change the way that you think. So I've done a lot of listening actually in the car, a variety of subjects, not only the sort of healthcare and science, but a lot of psychology, a lot of human behavior,
Mhm.
a lot of human history. That sort of helps a lot with your sort of mindset of how things are. But I basically just try and learn everything and anything, and I sort of always try and go into a book saying you don't know what you don't know, so just be
Mhm.
open to anything. I've taught myself to speed listen, so when I first started, once a month I just bumped up the speed by about zero point 0.1. So they're on about two times speed now, which sound absolutely ridiculous, but it's going. So I mean, I'm getting through like a book a week most weeks.
Brilliant.
So with like a passive exercise like driving or maybe out for a walk or running on a treadmill or something like that, I'd really sort of recommend that to my older self because I didn't start that till sort of mid-20s and wish I'd done that sooner. And it's just such a good life hack for just learning whilst you're not doing anything additional, i.e. the
Sure.
drive or the run or things like that. And
Yeah.
one other thing I would definitely sort of, if I encountered my 18-year-old self, really push hard is a Xander letter. Have you heard of a Xander letter?
No, no. What's that?
So I've been doing that for about 3 years now. So I'll have to explain sort of the
Yeah.
concept of it first. So I think the story goes along the lines of there was a professor called Professor Xander, who's a music sort of university professor, and all of his students on day sort of one of the semester, he said, right, I'm giving you all an A for your exams next year, but all I'm asking for in return is I think maybe a 10,000 word document of a letter from yourself in the future, a year from now. And you're basically going through everything and every fine detail that you did in order to get that A next year, such as you did 3 hours practice on Monday, and then you contacted this person for a bit of tutoring, and you did this and you did this. And when you read it back in to yourself, well, it's from yourself in a year's time, but you read it back in that sort of past tense, it's as though you've already done it. So you
Hmm.
start making actions and choices towards that sort of end product, let's say,
Yeah.
as though you've already done it. So
Yeah.
I started 3 years ago. So on at the start of January every year, I'll write a letter from my future self at the end of December that year, and I just say, right, I mean, it'll be really cringy. They're awful to read, but it'll be like, wow, what a great year. This is what you did. And I'll basically put everything
Yeah.
that I haven't done, but I do want to do. And I'll write it as though I've already done it. And I'll write in fine detail how I did it. And really interesting. It's really powerful. You just start making moves towards doing it. And I'll set a reminder on my phone just every 90 days or something just to reread it and try and dissect it a little bit more and sort of create action points from it. But yeah, the first year I did it, I did about 70% of what was in that letter. So yeah, it's not going to be a 100% success rate, but it was far, far more than what I would have
Yeah.
done or not achieved had I not wrote it. So yeah, definitely put
Nice.
that to my previous.
Setting intention. Yeah.
Yeah.
We do something similar action coach with some of the the programs that we run that not heard it with the Xander letter reference, but yeah, definitely in terms of letter to the future and obviously setting out goals and plans and
Mm.
um, creating the person that has already achieved it. Definitely adhere to
Yeah.
that. So that's a nice share. Thank you. So lastly, because we're coming to the end of the interview now, if there's any latest news about what you're up to, Ross, or even if it's a case of sharing contact details, if people watching would like to get in touch and know more about what you do, feel free to do that now.
Nothing new that we're doing. We're just always trying to improve and offer more services. If there ever like a gap in what we can or can't offer, then we try and sort of fill that just so patients aren't sort of left struggling. But if you just Google Northallerton Osteopaths or my name, Ross Gemmell, an osteopath, there's definitely going to be majority of that first page taken up by us. So if you've ever got a niggle or a pain head to toe and don't know who it is
Yep.
that is to sort it, just contact us because if we can't sort it, we'll know someone that can. So there's very rarely someone's left without an answer or a direction or a plan.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. We'll put the a link in when we share the interview as well for you. Ross, it's been a real pleasure talking with you. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing all that you have, and I yeah, wish you all the best for the future success of the business.
Yeah. Cheers, Mike. Thanks for having me.